मास्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांति। नमस्ते।
Thank you, Kanta Didi. We are again here together for our journey to the next step. We all know about Mani Lakshmi Didi. So in the last chapter, Didi is introducing us to Bhagavad Gita in a very different perspective of Amrita Parivar in her last lectures. All these lectures are taking us in this journey only. In the first 6 chapters, Didi very beautifully narrated the teachings of Sri Krishna to remove our burdens like I, my, mine, and get ready for the path of elevation. Uddhared Atmanatmanam. In the last lecture, Manya Didi to the 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, and in a very simple way threw light on Jnana Vijnana Yoga. As Didi said, it is a wonderful and important chapter because here Krishna is giving a beautiful linkage between Jnana and Vijnana. We were all aware of the damage technology is doing to the environment, Mother Earth, and human life. Didi explained about India's spiritual heritage has not put any black mark in its 10,000 years of, more than 10,000 years of growth. Didi also explained how this Gnana Vijnana assists us. Didi explained about Samagram, comprehensive understanding approach. The totality, Didi told about Samarasya, how it works. And that is the base of our all the scientific experiments. That is why our country has not damaged anything, not our rivers, not our mountains, nothing at all in the growth. In the same way, in the family, everyone should work for the betterment of the family together. One should not disturb others. Didi is telling about Amrita Parivara, how in Bhagavad Gita, we can take the points to make a Amrita Parivara. Live our life with fullness, not fragmented. These are Didi's teachings from Bhagavad Gita to us. So, I request Manya Lakshmi Didi to guide us about the next chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Didi.
Brahmacharya Vrati Dandi Sarva Vedanta Pandita Srimad Viveka Yogi Mam Prachodayadu Sarvada Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pankham Langhayate Girim Yat Kripatamaham Vande Paramananda Madhavam. Namaste to all of you. I hope you all know swimming because we are going to get into deeper and deeper waters. The first 6 chapters, Bhagavan was talking about us and we felt familiar. Now in the next 6 chapters, he is talking about himself and we don't know anything about him at all. Last chapter, Jnana Vijnana, when we integrate them in our life with Samagra knowledge, how it becomes part of our character, how we react or respond spontaneously to everything from this viewpoint. So a couple of examples will make it clear before we pass on to the next chapter. One is from Ramayana. Bharata is taking the Chaturanga Sena, the whole army, in the hope that Rama will consent to come back, and it will be a very huge procession to come back and all that. So as he is entering the forest, he first met Guha, and then he is proceeding towards Bharadwaj ashram. So he suddenly says, "Stop. Now all of you will remain here, not a step forward. Only myself and the Purohits, Vasishtha and whoever were with him, we will only go to Bharadwaja ashram, because if the whole army passes through this forest area adjoining his ashram, we know what will happen. You will go on cutting the trees or stamping on the grass or polluting the small lakes and water sources. So you all remain here. I will go and see Bharadwaja Maharshi." See how spontaneously he felt. If all the army, just imagine thousands of elephant and this and that, they pass through, what will be the state of the forest? The forest will be destroyed. No doubt about it. Lot of it will be destroyed. And that is not good, because we are going to a Parnashala. A lot of Maharshis are staying here and there. So that is a spontaneous reaction from Bharata, because Bharata's mind is so perfectly attuned to the oneness of the universe, which he has seen in Rama and which has made Rama adorable to him. So that spontaneous reaction, that is how we have to react. A second instance, it is very, very, very interesting. I just saw it in one of the Kuchela stories. We know Kujala went to Sri Krishna and he came back empty-handed. He didn't know what to do. He was wondering, now I will go and what will I tell my wife? What will she think? Nothing happened. And at that time, before he reaches their village, Vishwakarma comes there. Suddenly Vishwakarma appears in that hut, and she is asking, "May I know, who are you?" "I am the Vishwakarma, the super architect of the whole universe." Why you have come here?" "Sri Krishna has sent me." "I see. For what?" "He has told me, you convert this small hutment into a beautiful mansion like what I have in Dwaraka. That is how I want it." She paused, looked at him. "Please tell Krishna that I don't want it. I don't want such a palatial building standing in this slum area, we can say. In the slum area where I am staying with all poor people. I don't want my house to be converted into a palace. So please tell Krishna, I am not interested. If at all something is to be done, I want the same type of housing to all those who have been feeding me for years, giving me bhiksha. Taking bhiksha from them, we have survived as a family. So please tell Krishna, I don't want a palace for myself. If Krishna is willing, he can convert this whole village into a Dwaraka. Vishwakarma went to Krishna. Krishna said, "What? You have built the house?" "No, Krishna, you know what she said? She doesn't want a palace for herself, she wants a palace for every one of them in the village." "Yes," Krishna said, "yes. I knew she will respond like that. Now, Vishwakarma, take up the challenge. Convert every home there into a palatial building. Fill it up with all that is necessary for a very, very prosperous and happy living for all of them. Vishwakarma was only happy. He came back. She asked him, what did Krishna say? Krishna has given me permission to demolish all the houses and convert them into palatial buildings. And he didn't have to bring a bulldozer or anything like that. He will look at one building, that building will fall down, and in that place a new building will come. Like that, he converted the whole village into a mini Dwaraka. Not only that, all the inmates who suddenly found their dirty, torn dresses got transformed into beautiful silken robes. Not only that, the so-called ornaments they had, maybe some beads or this or that, they all got converted into beautiful ornaments. Something resembling with Rukmini and Satyabhama are wearing. Not only that, all the children, everybody became so happy because they found their houses filled with lot of edible materials. They were starving like anything, but then suddenly prosperity, Mahalakshmi enters into each home. Oh, when I read that, it was shown as a sort of, I think I saw it in a YouTube picturization. It was so thrilling. And because this lady, Kuchela's wife, responded in a samagra way, she took into consideration the happiness of everybody. Without their happiness, I cannot be happy. See, if somebody gives me a big present, a gift of a land, in the midst of, surrounded by a lot of poor people, and I build a house there, everybody will be jealous. All the time they will be thinking ill of me, and what happiness I will get living in that house. So these two instances I could not share with you last time. So this we should remember, how each and every action of ours will affect those around us. Be conscious of it with empathy. What I get, I want to share with everybody. And Sri Krishna will be highly pleased with us. So, Jnana Vijnana becomes integrated into our personality. We become a person par excellence. We should remember that. So, the Amrita Kudumba members will be Amrita Putras par excellence. They don't live for themselves, they live for everybody. Loka samastha sugino bhavantu. Loka, India is the only country which have got this intricate awareness of the wholeness interrelationships and have prayed for the whole universe. Unless the whole universe is peaceful and happy, what can we do? That little Ukraine is being attacked and the whole world is in trouble. No. So, yoga samasta sugino bhavandu, sarve bhavandu suginaha must become part of our everyday prayer. 3-4 times, morning, evening, every time. Never forget. So, after listening to such a blissful narration, inspiring revelation about the interrelationships that exist in the family and in the universe, our Arjuna, nothing but ourselves, no? He became very thrilled and with open eyes, he was ready to devour something more because Sri Krishna in the last sloka of the previous chapter, to arouse, to keep in the Arjuna's interest alive, he used 3 technical words. We also don't know the meaning properly. We have not understood the meaning properly. Sadhibhudadidevam mam sadhiyajnam chaye vidu prayanakalepi cha mam te vidur yukta chedasa. Adhibhudam, adhidevam, adhiyajnam. All right. We will keep them, we will come to them. So before that, how do we approach this chapter? I had told you it's going to be, we are going to be in deep waters. Unless you know how to swim properly, we'll be pulled down. We won't be able to understand anything at all. Because he is going to speak about Akshara Brahma, the final beatitude, the ultimate truth. Sri Krishna is going to talk, and how the jiva moves towards that truth. All that is. And what do we know of this Akshara Brahma Satya and all that? Of course we know Satyameva Jayade. It is there in our national emblem. Those of us who attend Saptahas, we also have heard Satyam Param Dhimahi. Apart from that, what Satya do we understand? We understand in Satya at all. We don't know at all, really. Because the education we have, what is education? Somehow or other, we pass 10th, 11th, 12th, sometimes giving money, sometimes using recommendation. Somehow we get into the college. And once into the college, we are not interested in studies. We will see how we can make confusion, how we can laugh at the teachers or make fun with the classmates or the seniors ragging the juniors. All these are our concerns, not study at all. And in addition, if some political figure enters, we are ready to give Inqilab Zindabad and then come out of the college saying, I am BA, I am BSc, I am MA, Master of Ajnana, Bachelor of Ajnana, and whatnot. What is this knowledge? How can we take this knowledge to this Akshara Brahma? So that is what Sri Krishna is going to elevate us, expand our mind, teach us concentration to this Akshara Brahma. Akshara means already Kshara, Akshara. All around we see things are dying, decaying. But yet we know, in spite of all that death, decay, and destruction, there is a thread of life in the universe. So that is the topic of Krishna's narration in this particular chapter. As soon as Sri Krishna started unfolding this very beautiful topic, Arjuna could start feeling that all these bondages, relationships, material fascinations, inclinations, they were all falling away. You know, when we want to transplant a tree, we loosen the ground slowly without disturbing the roots. The soil is removed. Then we lift with the roots the plant for replanting. In the same way, Arjuna could feel what he was considered as bondages, relationships, anxieties about the past, present, future. They were all getting dissolved somewhere. He could not understand where they are all going. It was just getting dissolved. And he started concentrating on the face of Sri Krishna. Come on, tell me more. Take me from the subtle to the, from the gross to the subtle, from the ephemeral to the eternal. I want to listen more. Krishna, you were using 3 words. I couldn't understand. And I think unless I understand those 3 words properly, I cannot proceed further. So please tell me, what exactly do you mean by that? So Krishna tells him, it is very simple, Arjuna. Adibhuda, Adideva, Adiyajna. Because you should understand these words and their implications before you take the jump into the sea of Akshara Brahma. So carefully listen to me. What is this Adhibhuda? Krishna says, this Stula Jada Sharira through which the Akshara Brahma can work. There should be, Sharira Madhyam Galu Dharma Sadhana. Without this human body, we cannot think of truth, realize it, manifest the divinity. It is not possible. So, it is very important. So, this Adhibhuda, through which that final beatitude will become expressed. That Jada Sharira, that is also very important because a speck of Akshara will enter into it to make it alive. Then Arjuna, there is the Adhideva. I told you earlier, there are the Panchabhutas, and it is through the sense organs we contact the Panchabhutas and start enjoying the life. Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. So that field is Adhideva because each of them is a divine power that we have seen already, told. Each has a divine power. Our Pancha Indriyas has a deity residing in them, which makes it a divine gift from the Almighty. And lastly, Arjuna, to whom all these will report, the final commander-in-chief who is residing in your body, that is Adhiyajna. That I am, Arjuna. It is under my command, under my wish, under my directions and guidance that the Adhibodha and Adhideva, they all start working. I see. So, without knowing Akshara Brahma, it is not possible to understand them. Isn't it, Krishna? Yes. Arjuna, listen to something more. Why I am calling myself Adhiyajna? Because each and every action you do through your karmendriyas or jnanendriyas, each and every action is a yajna. Each and every action we do, if we knowingly do these terms and the Akshara Brahma, each and every action we do should be converted into how? A sense organ, contacting the sense objects, acquiring the knowledge from them, and enriching our buddhi are all nothing but yajnas. They are all yajnas. Brahmarpanam, Brahmahavir, we have seen it already. Each and every sense organ has a divine power which converts our sensations into knowledge and offers it to the Lord of our own self. So, is there anything which is not a yajna? When I see, when I talk, when I read, when I try to understand the Gita, we are making use of this, and as it goes back, it becomes a yajna to the adhiyajna. Adhyajna is I am who is residing in yourself. Arjuna is surprised. This Akshara, through which the cosmic relevance of the five elements and their influence in our lives are unfortunately unknown to us, as they are not part of our syllabus. They have not taught us in the college. As I said, our education is. So, our Maharshis, they want to bring it nearer to our understanding. They have given us a simple formula that is called Pancha Maha Yajna, which every Hindu house we should uphold. Pancha Maha Yajna, through which we establish our contact with the self within, the divinic, Devic forces which guide and protect us. And every tiny little being in the nature around. The humans who are our cohabitants in this Mother Earth. And last but not the least, the Pitrus, the Jivas which have departed, left their bodies here and are in the Sukshma Sharira, residing in the Sukshma Lokas. All those are taken care of through this Panchamahayajna. Brahmayajna, Devayajna, Bhudayajna, Pitriyajna, Narayajna. So each of them, as it connects us with this one, it almost takes care of the universal living presence, we can say. So the Maharshis in their kindness have given us. That is why we teach our children. Where do we start from? We start from Mother Earth. Before you put your foot down, teach them Samudra Vasne Devi, Parodastara Mandide, Namo Vishwabhramada, Padasparsam Kshamaswami. And all of them are connected together as Sutre Manigana Iva. Not one thing is separated or fragmented. They are all one together. Sutre Manigana Iva. If you take care of your Pitrus, Pitrus will bless you. If you take care of the Aditi who comes, in the Kathopanishad, Yama tells Nachiketa, oh Nachiketa, we have been standing here for 3 days without taking anything. And when an Aditi is not taken care of, that Aditi absorbs all the goodness which the householder has acquired. All the good things will be consumed by the Aditi. So please, because of that, I will give you 3 boons. That is how he gives him the 3 boons. So we have to be very, very careful. So today we consider scientific research and studies. They are the be-all and end-all of our existence in life. So were in the olden days a study of Vedas and Upanishads, which propound the true science of our life in totality. This Samagra Vikshana, it was they who were giving, and it was very, very important to study. That was the para education our CES insisted upon. Here I am reminded of one Sandesha of Swami Vivekananda, which is worth remembering. He used to stress that the total energy content of the universe is ever the same, never destroyed or newly made. So is the Akshara Brahma, of which we are a part of. It has neither death nor birth, At the most we can say, in a way, transformation from one form to another. That is all we can talk of it. Now we come to Akshara Brahma, the most difficult to understand part of it. Let us see how far we can go, because I will give you a very beautiful anecdote from the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, which is so soul-filling to understand the Akshara Brahma. Now let us see, before we take up that particular Upanishadic statement, Akshara Brahma is the extraordinary, indestructible, eternal truth that the Indian seers, through their power of meditation, realize within themselves and outside themselves. Kaschidhiraha pratyagatmanamikshad avrittachakshu amrudatvamiccha. And after understanding that, when they looked out, they also found Isha Vasyamidam Sarvam. There is nothing which is not divine. Sri Ramakrishna is the latest classical example who teaches us there is nothing other than the divine energy. Why you people are talking of this and that? Even if the worst, what you consider as the littlest thing, that also is divine. What you are throwing off as dirt, it is also divine. There is nothing but divine in this universe. Now we know, because we have learned a little bit of science, and E is equal to mc squared, so we know that each atom has its own atomic power within it, atomic Shakti within it. So, this truth our Indian seers realized, not using any laboratory or instruments or techniques, but through deep meditation. So I think this deep meditation is a great gift of India to the world, because without meditating, you cannot reach at the core of something. So, having realized its omnipotence, omnipresence, and omniscience, they could never think of anything else. Because everywhere, when Sri Ramakrishna touched Swamiji, Swamiji was laughing at him. Oh, I don't want to hear that everything is divine. Oh, it is like that. Sri Ramakrishna just touched him in his chest. Oh, he found everything is filled with the divine energy. He saw a lamppost, appeared divine. When he sat before for taking food, as we have heard the golden touch, King Midas story, he found everything is divine. He could not eat, he could not sleep, he could not lie down, he could not talk, he could not do anything. Then he realized, he came back and said, enough, I know now, everything in this universe is divine. Please, bring me back to the normal, real self. So, realization of that truth put an end to all illusions and hallucinations and filled their lives with rare happiness and peace. That is how they said, Srinvantu Vishwe Amritasya Putraha Aye Dhamani Divyani Tastu Vedahamadyam Purusham Mahantam Aditya Varnam Tamasapparastad Tameva Viditva Atimrityumedi Nanya Pantha Vidyate Enaya. Then this they would share, they wanted to share with the whole of humanity. And out of that anxiety and eagerness emanated all the Upanishads, all the Dharma Shastras, etc., etc. So this is the essence of life we should absorb and try to realize in our own smaller or bigger ways. Sri Krishna says, Swalpamapyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. So it may be a atomic knowledge, maybe a mustard, or maybe a big fruit like our jackfruit. So somehow this amritatva, we should learn to absorb and make part of our thinking, part of our being, part of our talking, part of our activities. Everywhere, somehow we should bring this vibration of the amritatva. This unifying oneness of truth, if shared by all in a family, no doubt the whole family will become an Amrita Parivar. A society, if it can imbibe this and make it part of their day-to-day dealings and interactions, it will be transformed into an Amrita Samoha. That was the nature of the people, families, and society which earned the Bharat the rarest of epithets, Dharma Bhumi. Great emperors and rulers like Sri Rama preserved the dharmic status because they were themselves embodiments of dharma. They were all people who realized this Akshara Brahma. So wonderful is this Akshara Brahma. To get a detailed description, we don't get a detailed description here, even though all the chapters hereafter we are studying will open up a little window through which we can look at it, Akshara Brahma, in some form or other. But if you want a theoretical, if you want to write an essay on Akshara Brahma, or you want to have a project on Akshara Brahma, then I will take you back to Janaka's Rajya Sabha way back in Treta Yuga, to the royal court of Janaka in Mithila way back in Treta Yuga. Sri Krishna is talking to Arjuna in Dwapara Yuga. We are studying it in the Kali Yuga. So we have to go back in time to Treta Yuga, to Mithila. King Janaka used to hold some big seminars, not webinar or whatever it is, not that. Seminars in which he invited all the great seers of his time and asked them to discuss about this soul, life, etc. He would sit and listen and enjoy their discussions. He will offer, because he himself was a great scholar, he will offer his own ideas, and like that there used to be a very live seminar. So once Janaka thought, no, I want to take it into a different level. I want to not discuss about the usual ways and means of attaining truth or something. I want to know what truth exactly is. So let me see. So what he did, he called a big sabha. Lot of people came. He kept a very beautiful prize for them. 1 lakh cows with all their horns tingling with gold bells and that, all their limbs carrying gold, and he kept it there. And he said, whoever is able to satisfy this sabha about their knowledge, they can carry this to their home or parnashala or ashrama. So he wanted to have a debate on that, and they started with a normal presentation of one paper, presentation of another paper, like that. But nobody was coming anywhere near this prize money. At that time, Yajnavalkya enters the arena, and he told his disciples, Arey, take all this, drive them into our ashrama. Drive them into your ashrama? You are not even going to take part in the debate. What debate with all these fellows? Who is there? Come on, I am ready to talk to you. Who is there to challenge me? So and so, so and so, so and so. They'll put up small questions, asking him, what is this, what is this, what is that? So it was at that time Ashtavakra boldly entered the hall. You know, it is this Ashtavakra later who gets transformed into Yajnavalkya. It is a different story. Ashtavakra was a person who had 8 curves on him. He was very ugly looking. So people used to laugh at him. So Ashtavakra, when he entered, people started laughing. And he looked at Janaka and said, what sort of a conference you are having? People are discussing about the body of the person, or are you speaking about the truth? People were afraid and they kept quiet. And this Ashtavakra later becomes the great Yajnavalkya. So he challenged and asked them to engage them in debate. In no time he could win over them because there was no sage there who was capable of defeating him in his argumentation. It was silent. People thought what to do next. At that time, one Rishika, a lady Rishi, got up. Gargi is her name. She got up and asked him, what did he ask? Placing before you another important word, Ota Proda. We have to understand this. Ota Proda. What is Ota Proda? Take a cloth. There are horizontal threads and vertical threads. All of them woven together gives rise to the shawl or cloth. So in the same way, this lady Gargi is asking Ashavakra or Yajnavalkya. He had become Yajnavalkya by the time this happened. She asked him, Sir, I want to know what is Odaproda in this universe? What is pervading the water so that it becomes a divine something? What is pervading the earth so that it becomes divine? So in like this, she goes on asking him, what is all the Proda in water? What is all the Proda in earth? What is all the Proda in this thing? So step by step, he is answering Gargi. In answer to Gargi's questions, Yajnavalkya gives a comprehensive description of what is. Finally, it comes to a stage, Akshara Brahma. But before that, she went on asking this, He went on answering. Then her final point, she asked, what is Odaproda in Akasha? In the ether. So before that, Panjabhutas accepting Akasha, Gandharvaloga, Prajapatiloga, like that it went on. So when finally it came to that, suddenly Yajnavalkya told her, stop, Gargi, don't ask super questions. This is enough. Stop it. Gargi stopped, but her curiosity was not completely satisfied. The Maharshi wanted Gargi to pause and sharpen her intellect, to go beyond space and time, beyond Deshakala, as Paramatma or Akshara Brahma transcends time and space. So on the first day, she couldn't ask anything, so she stopped. But second day, again the debate started. Then she said, I have two questions to ask you. The description of Yajnavalkya is mind-wobbling. It's a riddle which can be solved only through intense sadhana and tapas. Each expression contradicts the other. At the same time, it gives us a taste of the spiritual dimension. As I said, I will take you to that particular context. Nobody else can give a interpretation or anything. We have to sort of absorb it like a kashaya we take for our health. Yajnavalkya hovacha. Yajnavalkya, said he, എവിടെ പോയി? എടുത്ത് തെറ്റിയ
8th and 9th.
Not this. Not this. 388. What was it? Oh, 319 another. This is not the one. That day we had kept it separate, no? Anyway, till I collect it from the computer. This discussion may generate in us a lot of curiosity as to why the Maharshi denied Gargi the answer first time and why he relented the second time. The Sankalpa of Akshara Brahma goes beyond what words can convey or mind can conceive of. The Maharshi wanted Gargi to pause and sharpen her intellect, to go beyond time, Deshakala Vadibhyam, the very first stanza in Bhagavad Gita, Deshakala Vadibhyam, that Akshaya Brahma, which is beyond time and space, that is there in the Guruvayur temple, Handa Bhagyam Jananam. See, normal people cannot go anywhere near it, but here it is as a beautiful child standing before and visible to all of us. Handa Bhagyam Jananam, what great fortune we are all having. Just a few minutes, I want to take it from the Upanishadic context. So when she comes to the last part, what is Odaprotha in Akash, the Maharshi asks her to stop and chides her that she is overstepping. For the time being, she stops and takes time to ponder over. Why did he tell me like that? So that she stops. This Sabha met the next day, and very humbly she requests the Rishi to permit her to ask 2 more questions. He readily agrees. She asks the first question. What is it above the heavens and below the earth and also pervading both? What is Otaprotha in past, present and future? Yajnavalkya says it is Akasha. After a pause, she asks the second question. After prostrating before Yajnavalkya, Kasmin khalu Akasha Otascha Prodascha iti. Where is Akasha Otaprotha? It is at this ultimate point of questioning that Yajnavalkya describes the Akshara Brahma. Sahovacha etadvai tadaksharam gargi brahmana abhivadandi. What is Odaprotha in the universe? Answering her questions, Maharshi takes her knowledge to more and more subtle realms. It starts from water, Vayu, sky, Gandharvaloka, Sindraloka, Prajapatiloka, and finally touches the Brahmaloka. In that description, what we get is, we cannot think of it. Maybe if I am not able to take it today, we will postpone it to our next class. We had marked it, somehow it has gone out of. A series of epithets he is using. For example, it is long, it is short. It is fat, it is thin. It is black, it is white. Everything is contradicting the other. So this sort of a description, and he says that is Akshara Brahma, meaning Yado Vaja Anuvartande is Straugaisana. We cannot conceive of it at all, but it is there. It is that Akshara Brahma's presence that is filling up the whole universe. Everybody is stunned. Nobody had taken their intellectual inquiry into this level of Akshara Brahma. So there was no question. Yajnavalkya takes all the cows, takes his, and he becomes the adorable teacher of the whole community. That is how the Janaka Sadas becomes the scene of this description of the Akshara Brahma. All yogas are pathways leading to this ultimate truth. So, how exactly the jiva travels on the subtlest of journeys? What helps and guides it in this journey? What are the impediments that pull it back? All the queries of Arjuna are patiently answered by Sri Krishna. To make sure that the journey is rightly oriented, Sri Krishna suggests the best of the ways. What is the best of the ways? Constant remembrance of Him as our eternal destination. When we ponder over all these, what is happening in a family these days? Without any of this knowledge, we don't know anything about these interrelationships, etc. So even whenever elders tell us something out of their experience, we get impatient and restless at the ways of our father and grandfather, and the family quarrels and leaves the home. Then after moving about in the society, starving enough times, not having a place to sleep, then finally he comes back like a prodigal son in the Western literature. He comes back and then prostrates, forgive me, this is what has happened. This is what happened to Arjuna. Karpanya dosha upahada swabhava prichami tvam dharma sammudha cheda yashreyasya nischidam bruhitan me shishyasteham sadhimam tvam prapannam. So instead of going through all this, we are fortunate, at least at this part of our life, we have taken up a sankalpa of what is Amrita Parivar, how we can improve our family structure, family relationship. It is very simple. It is rooted in one truth and one truth alone. Now we are going to see it in the 10th and 11th chapter, beautiful exposition. So that constantly we should remember. This is what we are doing to our Mother Earth. To take an example from one of our Panchabhutas, grand old Mother Earth and nature, having enjoyed recklessly whatever she has to offer, whenever ego starts discovering the true knowledge and our eternal relationship, the brute in us, in the wake of damaging everything around. This damage is not done to earth and nature alone, but is sarvavyapi, affecting all our relationships, our close family members, everything. When they start the rectification, that is where knowledge of self, rooted in Akshara Brahma, becomes important and valuable. So we need not be afraid to get into the deep waters of Akshara Brahma. That is our self within. And more we get rid of the non-self things around, non-self activities, non-self thinking, non-self uh, talking or things like that, then finally we will read up to the Pratyagatma Namakshad. The goal of Vedanta is to provide a helping hand to those drowning in the ocean of ajnana or ignorance. That is why, to make Arjuna conscious of his dharmic responsibilities, Krishna had to give him doses of Vedantic knowledge and insight. That must be the reason why Bhagavad Gita developed as one of the best Vedantic texts. I have got the paper here. There is with a view to evading both the charges, Yajnavalkya said, O Gargi, the knowers of Brahman say, this is that about which you have asked. By what is unmanifested, either pervaded. What is it? The immutable, which does not decay or change. By referring to the opinion of the knowers of Brahman, he evades both the charges by suggesting that he will say nothing objectionable, nor that he has failed to comprehend the question. Then he thus answered her question. Gargi must have rejoined, tell me, what is that immutable which the knowers of Brahman speak of? Thus addressed, Yajnavalkya said, it is not gross, it is neither other than gross. Then it must be minute. No, nor minute. Then is it short? Neither short. Then it must be long? No, nor long. By this fourfold negation of size, all the characteristics of a substance are denied of it. In other words, this immutable is not a substance. It is then red in color, which is a quality? No, it is different from that too. Neither red color. Red color is a quality of fire. Is it then the oiliness of water? No, neither oil. Or is it a shadow, being altogether indescribable? No, it is different from that too. Neither a shadow. It is then darkness? No, nor darkness. Let it then be air? No, neither air. May it then be called either? No, nor either. It is then sticky like lac? No, it is unattached. Is it then sour? Neither sour. Let it be then order. It has order? No order. Has it then eyes? No, it is without eyes, for it has not that instrument of vision. As the mantra says, he sees without eyes. Similarly, it is without ears, as the Shruti point puts out. He hears without ears. Let it then be the vocal organ? No, it is without the vocal organ. Similarly, it is without the mind. Likewise, it is non-luminous, for it has no luster like that of fire, etc. It is without the vital force. The vital force in the body is denied of it. Has it then a mouth or opening? No, it is without a mouth, not a measure. It does not measure anything. It is then porous? No, it is without interior. Then maybe it has an exterior. No, it has no exterior. It is then an eater? No, it does not eat anything. Then is it anybody's food? No, nor is it eaten by anybody. In other words, it is devoid of all attributes, for it is one only without a second. So what is there that can be specified, and through what? Achindyoyam, akledyoyam, ashosyoyam, achindyoyam. Bhagavan in the second chapter itself, he has already told all about the Akshara Brahma. So here he is defining it in further. So this Akshara Brahma is the Kohinoor we should keep in our heart. Once in a way, we say, yes, I know a little bit of this Akshara Brahma. Adhiyajna, Adhibhuda, Adhideva. Connect them all together to this Akshara Brahma. It is from that Akshara Brahma that all the radiance, all the brilliance, all the intelligence, all the happiness, all the Shanti, everything radiates from this Akshara Brahma. And Sri Krishna is there in front as the personified form of Akshara Brahma. Blessed indeed are we, born in this great Punya Bhumi, that we have such things to think of, talk of, discuss, and then probably realize. Thank you all for the patient listening. It is, of course, not a description or anything. I was just repeating this. I had been, because probably a little bit of knowledge is Akshara Brahma makes you such an expansive personality. A typical example is Sri Ramakrishna, through Shodashi Puja, must have implanted in Mother Sarada this awareness of the Akshara Brahma. So from this point of view, she looks at the world around, people around, things around, occasions around, happenings around. So everything is nothing but divine. Beautiful, isn't it? Sarve bhavantu sukhinah. What else to say? I think we should find some time for our Raghunandan to pass a few comments.
Pranams to Didi and all the listeners, all the participants of this great discussion which is going on. Didi told about the Sutra Manigana. The whole thing is connected as a sutra. Whatever we heard in the second chapter, whatever we heard in the third, everything is connected to today's topic. So, actually, you cannot possibly, as Didi was telling, you cannot possibly oversimplify what has been discussed and what has been given in this particular Akshara Brahma chapter. But then, I feel that many of you are able to read Kannada. And in Kannada, there was a very great writer by name Devudu. I do not know how many of you have heard of him. He had written 3 classics. One was Mahakshatriya. It's about Nahusha Chakravarti. The second one was Mahabrahmana. And the third one was Mahadarshana. Mahabrahmana was on Kaushika becoming Brahmarshi Vishwamitra. And Mahadarshana is the story of Didi just narrated, Yajnavalkya. The same incidents has been simplified by him in a very beautiful way. He has discussed about the discussions which took place in Janaka's court. It is said that he was sitting with his wife, the second wife, Katyayani. And then she said, I do not understand what you people talk about. You said that you won the great laurel and brought these cows to our ashram. He said, you don't have to go through the Vedantic. I'll just ask you a few questions. You try to answer them. And perhaps, as Didi said, like Ramakrishna, he imbued something in her, which made her she was able to get that Samagra Darshan. He says, yesterday also, you were observing the cows which were grazing in the mountains. It is said that Devudu says, the same very cows which used to come to graze to that grazing ground nearby in the mountains. Yesterday you were seeing them. What happened to you when you saw them? Katyayani innocently says, I saw them and I felt we must have these cows. Because she too had heard about the announcement made by Janaka. And today, I see them in our ashram. Yajnavalkya asks, how happy were you as compared to today, yesterday? She says, I'm over happy because those cows have come to our ashram. He says, fine. That means you are more happy because they have become yours, mine. She says, yes, very true. If I extend the question further, suppose the whole universe became yours, what would be the amount of happiness you get? She says, it's undescribable. Yajnavalkya continues. And he says, suppose you have become the universe, what will be? Devudu says she became stabda. She was unable to answer because she got that little bit of Amrita in her. Something like that. Actually, basically, in the 7th chapter, Krishna described Prakriti. And in Prakriti, he not only included the Panchabhutas, but he included mind, intellect, and Ahankara in that. Bhinna Prakriti Ashtadha, it said. He included all these things in Prakriti and himself as the Purusha. I'll give you a very small example, probably which will make it it'll make it comprehensive. We see something. We are able to see. We are able to see only that which is outside. I hope you agree with me. We are able to see the rainbow. We are able to see the flower because it is outside us. The eye is able to see only that which is outside. But suppose you were to ask the eye, you were to order the eye to look at itself, then it would be difficult. It will not be able to see. The universe we are able to see. But what about the seer? What about the person who understands? Not only what about the person who understands mind, who is able to see the mind, who is able to see the intellect, who is able to see the ahankara. That is Purusha. But it's very easy to understand intellectually, but how to get him? That is why he says, he uses the word, Arjuna, while asking the question, he uses the Prayana Kale, what should we do? Because he had asked that question earlier in the 6th chapter, that suppose I become a yoga brashta. I don't achieve what has to be achieved through yoga. And I pass away, I die. What will happen to such person? So the very same question he's asking in a different manner. What should a person think when he's about to die? So Krishna humorously tells, you keep on thinking about me all the time. And if you remember me at the time of your death, you will become me. No, but in fact, we were talking about it with someone today. Actually, it's very difficult to think about God or the Brahman or something like that at the time of death. If you are not used to think about it earlier itself. Why is it that our so many rituals, actually I don't call them rituals, they are all aids to remember him. You're doing puja, you are using all the 5 senses to convert into divinity. It's not that when you are doing the archana of a vigraha, it is not the vigraha that you are doing. It is the divine in vigraha that you are doing it. So water, flowers, you are offering to the divine. And at the same time, all these things become divine when they reach the feet of the Lord. So he says, unless and until you continuously think about me, you will not be able to remember me. Otherwise, we'll be doing upasana. Upasana means we'll be sitting next to whatever we have been thinking all the time. Suppose money, career, family, father, mother, like Bharata. Chakravarti Bharata remembered that deer and became a deer. I don't say that you should not think about them. You should very much think about them. You should fulfill all the responsibilities. But at the same time, the memory of him should be always there in your mind. Because everything is divine around us. Everything is divine. When we are taking bath, suppose it's cold. If it's hot water, it's warm water, then when you pour the water on your head or your body, you feel nice. You feel very happy. When you are eating food, that's why Brahmarpana, when you are eating food, think that it is divine and the divine is eating. Every ritual, if you ask me, the avahana, the nyasa, everything is for that reason. And if you remember him, you'll be able to remember Akshara Brahma. And by experiencing the divine in day-to-day life, probably you'll be able to get what Didi has been telling. And she's been putting wonderfully, eloquently through Yajnavalkya's mouth. It's something wonderful. I just remembered that, so I thought I'll share it with you. And those of you who can read Kannada, please read Mahadarshana of Devudu. And if time permits, read that DVG's Mankutimmana Kagga. There are such wonderful truths in it. Maybe all of us will be benefited by. I thank Didi to give me the opportunity. It's only a comment. It's only whatever I understood through her speech, I'm trying to express it in my own words. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm grateful.